guy that joined that's already certified firefighter 2 in Danbury, but we have no equipment for it here in Grafton. And I want to send another new uniform. The prices here are what the uniforms cost. Now, I may be able to pull gloves out of old gloves, but, you know, basically, structured gloves are $103 a pair. Boots are about $325, pants are $805, the coat's $1,200, the hood's $129, rescue gloves are $65. That's what you pay.
No, you and I talked about this. You know how I feel about it, so.
There's nothing I can do about it. If somebody says, well, we can get stuff.
So you want one complete uniform or gear one for somebody who's already joined the department
Yes.
and is trained, and then
Yes.
one for a spare?
No, one that's going to be trained, going to the academy. They've already went through the academy, but they didn't get certified. They've got to go through the certification process.
Okay. And that's a current member
Yes.
that's on the roster? Okay, okay, thank you.
And
I
remember
think one
that,
of the points that to behoove you, you should make here that I didn't know, they don't have a current eligible suit in the building where somebody could go to all this training.
They also don't have a lot of people trained to use them. That was what I was asking.
okay, so I can...
Okay, I get that point, but if you don't have a suit that will pass to be trained in, how can you train someone to use it? It's kind of a catch-22, you know what I mean?
Well, there are things you can do on the fire scene to get, you know, your feet wet, if you will. But I got certified firefighters that I know their stuff is 10 years old, including mine. I think mine is 11 now, so. But, okay, it's still in good shape.
I'm not saying
Protect
that,
everything.
I mean, I'm advocating for you. If you want to send some of these guys to some of this advanced training, the other one that told me they won't take these suits.
Is there anything the auxiliary would be willing to do to help with any of this?
If I deplete, if I deplete them for this stuff, okay, then there's the other stuff that you won't see, things like when we get a new truck, okay, when I talk $300,000 for a truck, I'm talking just a bare truck. I'm not talking any hose. I'm not talking any of the little stuff that goes with it. Normally, auxiliaries do that to the tune of $20,000 to $30,000. Okay.
I don't know what they're sitting on these days. I have not been in their books for
Okay, so we're getting a hose washer it should be here.
But they're reformed to ease the burden on the taxpayers, and I'm just asking if there's things that aren't down the road, pretty things, but these are things you want to add to your budget, if these are things you're even asking them for, or they'd be willing to do. I know they've turned the ambulance down for helping out with supplies, and I'm just wondering if they're doing the same with you.
Supplies, I don't ask them for supplies, I ask for equipment. So one thing you don't see in this is a thermal imager. I'm gonna try to get a grant. If I would get a grant elsewhere, I would go to auxiliary. The auxiliary actually bought an old thermal imager.
Right.
And it cost us $7,300, I believe it is. You know what? Even new ones cost $7,000 for some magic number, I don't know why.
Yeah.
They're more advanced, but something like that, you don't see that because if I went and bought something that's like 1/3 of my budget, people would say, what the heck are you doing? Okay, well,
Okay.
I got a thermal imager that works, sure it's black and white, but it works. When it dies, I will replace it. If I need to replace it outside the budget cycle, I can go to auxiliary and they have it and they said, now we need it. Whereas if, once you set this budget in stone and if it's really something like that, I'd rather go to you and say the pump broke, we need to repair it, than to go to you, well, thermal imager, but
Yeah,
then I would have another source, and I would use that as a source.
Right, yep, I get it.
Okay.
Thank you, yep.
I mean, we're using them. In fact, one of the things we've got to do, because we have less people, and the average age fire department is in the, I hate to say this, but it's close to 50.
Yep.
And I have to change out equipment because some of the old equipment was built heavy duty, real heavy stuff. The newer modern equipment is a lot lighter. Example would be a K tool. It's gas powered, it's this, and of course gas has its issues nowadays. Well, we could buy electric one for $1,100. I would go to the auxiliary for that. Okay, not
I
here.
got that too the other night.
Okay. because I see what my partners in Canaan and Enfield and Danbury are doing, and they've got some interesting equipment. I says, that's something we can get into. And that would eliminate this gas-powered thing, this heavy thing, that we don't use it ever. And so,
Okay.
maintenance is typically inspections and equipment maintenance. The ladders I check myself, but I'm not certified to check ladders. But this basics you can say, okay, it's good. The pumps are checked every 2 years. The air packs are supposed to be checked every 2 years. Ours has been about 3 years at this point. The cylinders all have to be hydro tested every 5 years.
Okay.
And I think I'm due for hydro testing next year, so. The auxiliary is looking to possibly buy a new compressor for us. That's a $20,000 item, so.
Okay.
But that is like a 4-year down the road project.
Okay.
Repairs, so I was notified by the people that inspect our vehicles that our brakes are good, half used, but some of the engine's 2 brakes are starting to delaminate, which means we should replace the pad in the next coming year. The tanker brakes have not, I think I've replaced 1 can on that, but the other 3 cans are probably due, just from rust and age. The highway department can do them. I don't know if they're gonna have time because they're gonna break up new crew, new manager, so I may have to go outside.
Sure.
If I go outside, it's gonna be, it has to be a truck place.
Right.
They don't give away their services. So,
Okay.
after that, it is what it is. You could beat on it all you want, but there's your price.
Is supplies something unusual, out of the ordinary this year that we're over, or should we raise that?
I bought a lot of supplies to help me repair things. Okay, so supplies, I know I went over that this year. Yeah, I think 1,000 is sufficient. Because I got the chemicals I need that are carrying me over, you don't use a full bottle all at once. I think the only thing I'm anticipating buying next year is probably 1 or 2 gallons of wash, in addition to supplies I need to go with. I would like to change from paper towels to a paper towel dispenser. The numbers make it so much cheaper to have that than use the store-bought premium towels.
Yeah.
So, but that to implement that is talking about selling towels. But
Okay.
we can't keep doing what we're doing because it costs too much.
Okay, that Jeep thing that you got from Canaan, what you gonna do with that?
That is our forestry. It holds in case we have to go to Half Moon Pond in the deep woods. I have to do a brake job on that, but other than that, it's for the forestry to go deep in the woods where I don't want to put my trucks in because I can't.
Well, yeah,
Okay. But that costs us basically inspection.
you
But you want-
can't sell that, right?
Cannot sell it. I mean, I could turn it in, but then we're gonna need something that gives us off-road capabilities. I'm more concerned with getting a fire truck than a forestry unit.
Well, yeah,
Okay. Katie just said 100.
I figured that thing is putt-putt.
It does. It's not supposed to go fast, but it goes. We've taken it to mutual aid brush fire in Hanover.
Did we skip training, or did I?
No, we didn't talk training. Sorry.
Okay.
So training, yeah, we had 1,000. I'd like to go 2,500 because I like to send 2 candidates to fire school at 800 some odd dollars a piece.
Are they opening back up?
Yes, they're opening it up.
Okay.
Okay.
And I haven't done any of the
They're doing a
training.
lot online. They're
Okay.
trying to go into modules, which is the way they used to do it 40 years ago, which I approved. So hopefully we can help them on their way. Training for firefighter 1 is an intensive effort.
Okay. So All right, so talking about uniforms before you said you had one guy that was going to go to training. Yeah, you wanted a new uniform for.
Actually, I've got 2 people that go to training, but one already has the training, he just needs a uniform.
Right.
Okay.
But now you're saying you want 2 guys, you have 2
Yes.
guys to go to training.
Yes.
So is this one and hopefully somebody else will want to?
No, I have 2 currently in the bar.
Okay,
So basically,
but that one's got gear.
yes,
Yay, all right. Okay. Okay, good. All right. So that takes you from 1,000 to 2,500.
yeah.
I'm all out of questions.
I heard it all. This is my second time and I'm kind of on board. You know, I realize where the big jump is, but I'm on board with it.
Yeah,
Hope that the other one-
somebody's gonna have to fix the stuff.
So what's our,
It's gonna get expensive quick if that machine restarts. I mean, you just went through it.
so your bottom line here that you've got is 38,009, but we've got the post office, the PO box to correct, so
Yeah,
it's
we gotta bump it.
$8 more.
You bumped up the fuel to 1,100, you bumped up the postage to 64, and then utilities bumped by 50, so it's 38,267.
Thank you. 38,267, which is a
Quite an increase.
14,000 $600-ish increase.
Yeah, but I've been starving in the fire department for a few years.
I know.
Now it's catch-up time.
14,667.
Thank you. I'm torn. I mean, that's a huge jump, and yet I know how much, like you said, you've been, excuse me, you've been starved the last several years, and our tax rate what it is, and it just kind of kills me to give any department that huge a jump.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? And also, what are you gonna do? The bottle's gotta come off the truck, the bottle's gotta come off the truck, the bottle's gotta come off the truck.
The choice is I put the steel bottles back on,
Yeah.
and so the firefighters got to carry heavier bottles.
This is precisely why that auxiliary was formed. This is what kills me. It's
Well,
precisely why that auxiliary
Yeah,
was
they're,
formed.
yeah, but they're getting me equipment that you would probably never get me. Okay?
But this is what's needed. If this is what's needed, that's what they were formed to do, not extras.
Okay, yeah. So, in the old days, 20 people would show up to a fire. Today, 4 or 5.
Right.
And those same 4 or 5 now have to clean the hose.
If they even do. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just 2 or 3 of them that'll bother to stay around for that.
Well, that's it.
I know.
So, we gotta make the job easier. That's just the way of the world.
And like those dispatch fees, there's really, I mean, there might be some play in there as far as what would be purchased, but otherwise it is what it is and it's necessary.
That's the
Yeah, the only line item is equipment that's really got play in it that I'm seeing.
I'm on board with the equipment. That's, you know, you got guys out here in suits that are more than 10 years old. You can't send them, I mean, you said it the other day, the trainings these guys want to take, they just can't go through. You know, the town's limiting itself. It's its own worst enemy at this point.
But the town's still gonna do what the town's gonna do. No matter whether you think it's logical or not, the town's gonna do what the town's gonna do.
You should.
Raising this $14,000 and then asking for $35,000 for capital reserve.
Let them cut it. Let them be the ones to say, no, we don't want to, no, we want to roll the dice with a house fire. Or
If the
roll the
house
dice
is-
with an untrained or unprotected fire.
Right, if the house is on fire, you're not gonna take the liability of people going untrained to a house fire, it'd be a disaster.
Yeah, if they want to vote a time and change it, let it be their decision. I don't feel comfortable let it being mine. And I know that equipment, not as well as you do, but look what you just went through with that pump. And the rest of that equipment's ticking time bombs. You know, I went through it with my rec truck. $7,000 later to put in 8 fuel injectors. I know what it's all about.
So you want to leave the equipment line item as it is? So the only changes we're talking about is the fuel up 200,
Where's,
the
did I
PO
see that
box.
list again? The one
We
that-
gave it to Jim to look at.
I don't think the list of equipment was a good. Yeah.
Is that what I'm looking for?
No, he's looking for the list. No, that's
I
okay.
don't need that.
No, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't speaking out of school, but I mean, you're talking basically 2 complete fire suits and replace the air bottles that are already out of date and you probably shouldn't be using to start with.
Oh, trust me, I know they need to be done, that's why I'm.
Or get rid of them for a long
See
steel
where it's
tank.
okay, shape.
I want to see some of these guys run around with steel tanks on their back. I know what they weigh too.
I started with that, that was 40 years ago.
You're losing your screws
I
now.
think the screw came out of the town share. I hope the insurance is paid.
Another one broken, there we go. Let's hope Gretchen finds
Put
something
that
pretty.
in it too.
Gretchen finds something pretty for us to do. All right. I don't agree, so if you guys want to make a motion, go for it. I'm not-
What do you
I'm not gonna argue about it.
Well, what do you suggest then?
I don't know, this just hit me.
I
He
know.
didn't turn it in on time, so I didn't have time to look it over, so I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't bump equipment up that much.
If you want to chance it, put the bottles on the warrant article.
It just kills me that the auxiliary doesn't take care of the fire and ambulance departments like they used to.
I agree. I'll get behind you on that with 100%, but you know, and the only reason that I'm not really putting up more of a stink about it is if they're not gonna do it, they're not gonna do it, and somebody's gonna have to. You understand? Is that-
I do.
Well,
That's why
the new ventilation fan, okay, electric's lightweight, made with composites, $3,500. I told them next spring I'm going for it. They're gonna pay for it. Okay, to replace the steel one, which I don't put back on the truck, but technically I'm supposed to have it on there for ISO points. Taking it off because it's just too heavy for one man to handle. So they're gonna be buying stuff, it's just that, I mean, I could throw that $3,500 onto this bill, but it's like, you know, I gotta have something for standby in case the thermal imager goes, or some other unusual expense that,
$7,000 pump.
well, yeah,
You never know.
but you never know.
You know, you never know.
I'd cut equipment in half from his proposal. But it sucks that we're not outfitted the way we should be, but it just,
We're gonna have to start outfitting it sooner or later. I suggest doing it before you wish you did it later. And I understand, I have a different perspective on this stuff, but
We're not even talking radios.
I've seen fires go bad quickly. And, oh, I wish I had that thermal imager. I wish I had that. I mean, I've seen it. You know? So I just, and it's, I don't know. You want? It's gonna have to get paid for and then taken care of sooner or later anyway. That's just my whole thing. Next year, do you want to be looking at, you know, do you want that? Or the options next year, we have 8 suits that are too old that you really can't do anything with as far as training or coming or going or anything like that, and 2 good ones, or 9 and 1, and then more equipment problems on top of it. It's a revolving thing. It's just unfortunate. It's big money equipment. We're not talking lawnmower blades and gas and air filters.
Those are not cheap anymore either.
I know, but what do you think, Ms. Joyce?
I've been listening to it all, and let me tell you, I know what kind of shape the fire department is in. It's in poor shape. They need lots of stuff. Radios, bunker pants, jackets, you name it, you need it. I wouldn't go to a fire in the stuff you've got. Sorry.
All right, slate, make motion.
I'll move to go with the 38,267.
I'll second it because I think the people should decide themselves what they want.
Yeah, that way at least they can't say we didn't do it, they can say we did it to ourselves.
Thanks, Joe. Russell's a no-show, he was on vacation.
No budget for
So we'll
Russell.
see.
I think he's probably in Pennsylvania, isn't he?
Something like that, yeah.
Colorado.
So we can
Colorado,
look
something
at,
different.
we can look at his on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Yep.
And I'll give you feedback ahead of time.
Anything else?
Well,
All right.
I wish she
Motion.
made cook dinner, but I know she didn't.
No, nobody ever cooks mine either when I'm not home. I hate that. You do too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
or next
meeting adjourned.
Tuesday.